Okay, so anyway, I shared the Google form with you that
Okay.
I use, and that's the first step. Hey, Jerome.
What you need, Devin? Where are you supposed to be?
Oh, I was getting some.
So I made you a copy, and you can post that on Google Classroom for them if you want.
Okay.
So the way that I do it is I give them a choice between two short stories. And this is obviously not like the full-blown literature circles that you would see in high school. But I give them a choice between two stories.
Okay.
And then I group them based on what they choose. So like you'll see in there, I have them put their name, and then I give them the two short little descriptions. So the two stories we're doing are a Cinderella story from China, or a story about a Dominican girl who moves to the United States.
Okay.
And then I give them the option to say like, I don't care. And then we just put them in a group that needs another person.
Okay.
And I haven't done this before, but I'm going to give them the option to put down one name of a person they don't want to work with. So I don't have to deal with the day of, here's your groups, oh my God, she and I just got in a fight, we cannot be together.
Okay.
I'll see how that goes.
Right.
You can take that off if you're not comfortable dealing with it.
Okay.
And I do them in groups of 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the groups are basically, I try to make it one struggling student, one high performing student, and one student with strong leadership skills.
Okay.
And I just go through, once I get their responses, obviously you have to have them fill this out before, at least a day before you start the literature circles.
Okay.
And I seat them in their groups based on that. Obviously, if you have 4, you kind of see who's maybe like a middle person and add them to that group of 3. The first day, and I'll make all of this stuff for you. You're welcome to help, but I was going to do it anyway. So I was going to go through the 2 stories and pick out 10 words from each story that I think are sort of that, I guess it would be tier 2 vocabulary. So words that they need to know to understand the story that I don't think that they would know on their own,
Okay.
but that are words that are useful for them to know outside of just that story.
Gotcha. Okay.
So not something that's super specific to the story, but also a word that they wouldn't necessarily already be familiar with, or that I think that they might have heard but not be super confident with. And I make a table, I can show you previous ones that I've done, that has 3 columns, the word and part of speech, and then they use their Chromebooks to look up the definition and write that in the second column. It's basically 3-column notes for vocabulary.
And then what they,
Which is an added thing.
yeah.
And then the 3rd column is an illustration to help them remember the meaning of the word.
Okay.
And so that's what they do the first day of literature circles, and they do it with their literature circle group.
Okay.
In order to hold everybody accountable, they can work together, but they all have to turn in their own assignment.
Okay.
So they're all doing all of the assignments, but they can work on it together.
Is it all on paper or is it?
The vocabulary will be on paper. The story, I was going to do it like we've done in the past,
Okay.
where I put them on a Google Doc. And then they will read through it together with their group to do the commenting and the highlighting.
Gotcha.
And for this, looking at our spiral of results, they're struggling most with connotation. That was like the thing that everybody missed, and they got almost everything else correct. So I was going to have them highlight words with positive connotations in green and words with negative connotations in red.
Oh, that's great.
And I was going to tell them, I have to go through and look at the stories. I'm thinking like 5 of each,
Okay.
depending on what the stories themselves. Like I haven't gone through and looked for that specifically yet, but I'm sure there will be 5 of positive
Okay.
and negative words. So that's day 2 of. So day 1 is the vocabulary.
Day 2.
Day 2 is
The connotation denotation, or
the
positive.
highlighting, connotation, denotation, and commenting on the paragraphs.
Okay.
And that may take them 2 days
Okay.
to do all of that, if we're honest. And I also will take those vocabulary, so we'll have 2 sets of 10 vocabulary words. I'll probably put connotation as one of the vocabulary words, even though we've talked about it, I wanna reinforce that.
Okay.
And so then I'll take those, it'll be 19 words because they will both have connotation, put them into vocab.com, and their vocab.com practice will be an assignment using those 19 words.
Oh, wow.
So they're getting exposure to the words in the other story, even if they're not
Even if
reading
they're
that
not.
story.
Okay.
So day 1 is vocab, day 2 and 3 are
Reading it
the
and
reading
highlighting.
it and highlighting it and commenting. Day 4, I think I said day 3 and 4, day
Yeah.
2 and 3. And then day 4 is, I was going to pick out 5 sentences from each story. And they'll get the sentences from their own story, so they have the context for those sentences. Have them find words in each sentence that have a positive or negative connotation, and then replace those words with a word with the opposite connotation.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Hi, Nina. Do you have her?
Mm.
Oh, she's in honors. I love her. And then the last day will be sort of like SOL practice, where I give them the type of questions they'll see on the SOL about connotation and denotation,
Okay.
using their stories. So
Okay.
throughout this whole process, you're going to have 2 different assignments that are doing the same thing,
Gotcha.
based on whichever text they chose.
Gotcha.
And so
Sounds great.
it's a little bit work intensive, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Okay. And what can I do to help?